It's to show I love you while keeping your way. And we'll say, holy, holy, holy. Holy is the name above all names. And we'll say, holy, holy. Sing to him, holy. Holy is your word, which shall remain. And we'll say, holy, we'll say, holy, we'll say, holy. Holy is the mountain where you reign. And we'll say, holy, holy, holy. Holy is our King. So as a burnt offering, can I approach your throne? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Next time I need y'all to get, a little bit more Baptist and not Catholic. Y'all tell me. Baptist with Catholic. Hallelujah. Okay. Lights in the menorah, shine forever. Here we go. We will sing for praise. So we go right to the top. Come on. And we will sing for praise. And it's hallelujah, come on. Hallelujah, praise to thee and my life. Hallelujah, come on. So we gonna like someone else, come on. And we will sing because of his name. And it's the Lord. Hallelujah, come on. Hallelujah. Yeah, to be praise to be in my life. Hallelujah, come on. Hallelujah, hallelujah. So we don't like the Lord, like the menorah. And we will sing. And it's the we have no fun. I will celebrate, sing unto Yahweh. I will thank you in my new song. I will celebrate, sing unto Yahweh. I will thank you in my new song. And we'll say, hallelujah, hallelujah, Y'all start putting them up, starting with now we put them.
This is a trouble. Oh,
Hallelujah.
we won't do it up. It's cold.
All we had to do is have warm weather, right? And all of a sudden now y'all got energy and stuff. Y'all sound full. That's yeah. As Adon the right said, we are tropical people, so we don't can't even praise. You can't even praise right when we go. Y'all can't even praise right when we go. Okay. So today, right? So we are still New Year's for us. Is starting tomorrow night. So okay. It's a new month. We're coming into a beat. That's Tovayo, which means that we are about 2 weeks away from Pesach. Last week we were talking about what? We're talking about 11. Okay. So what are the so what are the two types of leaven? Kamats. Seal, okay. That's everybody together. Hallelujah. So you know, say kamats, the seal. Okay, so we're supposed to get that out of your house, and what else physically that you own? Car. Anything that you boat, anything that you own, you need to get common sense you out of it. Are you gonna get all of that?
No.
Who gets and why is that? Okay, which is a representation of gang. And what do you mean by that, Eliezer? And for those, once again, I can't afford a microphone. So y'all got to speak up until we can get the microphone. So, Eliezer, you said that is a representation of us. What do you mean that is a representation of us?
You try to cleanse yourself in simple ways, try to make changes. Ultimately, even flesh will be.
Okay, eventually, as Melech Shalomo said, or King Solomon said that there is not one man without sin. No, automatically that raises red flags because we believe that there was a man without sin. That's another story. But there is no man with the questionable exception of one without sin, which means that we're always going to have leaven, comments, or CO within us, right? Yes, sir.
That makes me think of, we're made of flesh, but we're ruled by Ruach the Spirit. So the one that you're speaking of, the Ruach that was in him was greater than the flesh that inside, which should be our goal, or how we should want to know.
Okay. Which the same rock that was in him also is within us, or how else would the Most High told Cain, known as Cain, that you shall rule over the desire of sin. Unless you also have a bit of the Ruach that should be still able to govern you. Now, the question is, have you drowned out the Ruach because of your flesh? Then you get into a situation where now you are no longer governed, as the Creator said in Genesis chapter 6, that my Ruach shall not always, or spirit, shall not always govern or strive with man. Right? So we're not going to talk about Ruach today, because it's a lot more that I'm trying to get down first before I present it as far as Ruach or spirit. However, we know that due to Pesach, you're cleaning out in order to be filled. Because if you clean out everything and you don't put something in its place, what's going to happen? Okay. So I'm sure y'all couldn't hear my Isha. So what she said was it comes back 7 times more. Meaning that if you don't feel something, they said that an idle mind is the
Playground.
okay, so everybody been to a playground. There's a lot of stuff to do on a playground, depending on which school you go to. But anyway, so if you have cleaned out everything, but you have not placed something in it, then the thoughts and everything that you thought you cleaned out is going to come back and it's going to overtake you. It's going to be stronger than you were because you didn't equip yourself to combat it with the Ruach, right? So with that being said, you are to be filled with the Ruach in order to walk the way of the righteous, right? As well as walking the way of the righteous, what else should you be able to do? Walk it as well as okay. Yeah. Walk it like you talk, so you should be able to walk it. And if somebody asks you, well, why do you do that? You should be able to speak it. Let's get Tehillim 119, commonly called Psalms. Psalms 119, verse 41 and 42. Can somebody read that for me? I got my phone, but I don't like the app that I got on. Tehillim 119, verse 41 and 42. Okay.
May your kindness come to me, O Yahuwah, your salvation according to your word. I shall offer a response to those who scorn me, for I have trusted in your word. Do not remove from my mouth the word of utmost truth, because I have yearned for your ordinances.
Okay. So he said that, let your mercies come upon me, O Yahuwah, so that I shall be able to answer to when somebody reproaches me. If somebody comes to me with something, I may be able to answer. So don't take away your mercy, which allows me to get up when I fall, as well as your salvation, which is your word. Right, let's go to the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 3. Jude, towards the end of the book of the Bible. New Testament, probably like right before Revelation, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we almost never go to Jude. It's like it's not even in the Bible. Yeah, it is. This is one chapter. Oh, and we going, and I'm sorry, verse 1. So we go to Jude, chapter 1. I believe his name is actually Judah. Okay, Judah, right? Jude, or Judah, commonly called Jude, the servant of Yahushua HaMashiach and brother of James. It's a side note, he was also a brother of God. Anyway, to those who are called, beloved Elohim the Father, and kept for Yahushua HaMashiach. May mercy and peace and love be multiplied to you. Beloved, while I was making every effort to write you about our common salvation, I felt the necessity to write to you, appealing that you contend earnestly for the faith which was once for all handed down to the saints. So What does your translation say of verse 3, Becky?
Verse 3. It says, loved one, making all haste to write to you concerning our common deliverance. I felt the necessity to write to you, urging you to earnestly contend for the faith which was once for all delivered to the commission.
You must got the scripture.
Okay, pretty much. So this is talking about the faith, not only Yahushua, but also the faith of which was handed to the set apart ones. Who was given to the set apart ones of God? Okay, the oracles of Elohim, okay, which is Torah, for those who don't know. Torah, or the first 5 books, the instructions, really all of Tanakh, or what they call the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament. So you should contend earnestly for the faith which was handed down unto us. Let's go to one more. Well, yeah, Titus, chapter 1, verse 9. The book of Titus also is that should be around Jude as well.
That's right between what?
Okay.
Okay. You said 100.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, one page, like one page.
Somebody read from verse 5 to 9.
Train out. Everybody have it? Hallelujah.
We're going to book
Titus, right?
Hey, Titus, what?
5 and who?
Verse 5 through 9.
Okay. The reason I left you in Crete was that you should straighten out what was left undone and appoint elders in every city as I commanded. If anyone is unreprovable, the husband of one wife having believing children, not accused of loose behavior or unruly. For an overseer has to be unapprovable as a managing one of Elohim, not self-pleasing, not wroth, not given to wine, no brawler, no greedy or filthy gain, but kind to strangers, a lover of what is good, sensible, righteous, set apart, self-controlled. Cling to the trustworthy word according to the teaching in order to be able to encourage by sound teaching and to convict those who oppose it.
Yeah, okay. Titus is not usually read, but okay. It said, hold fast the faithful word, which is in verse 9, which is in accordance with the teaching, so that he will be able to both exhort in sound doctrine or teaching, as well as refute those who contradict. Right? Right. I'm also making this down. That is under regards of being able to proclaim what it is that proclaim your lifestyle, right? Now, I'm going to Bereshit chapter 12, how we call Genesis. So chapter 12 of Genesis. We're going to read verses 1 through 5.
Yahuwah said to Abraham, go for yourself from your land, from your relatives, and from your father's house to the land that I will show you. And I will make for you a great nation. I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who curse you, I will curse. And all the families of the earth shall be blessed themselves by you. So Abraham said to Yahuwah, has spoken to him, and lo, went with him. Abraham was 75 years old, he left Haran. Abraham took his wife Sarai, and lo, his brother's son, and all their wealth they had amassed, and the souls they had made in Haran. And they left to go to the land of Canaan, and they came to the land of Canaan.
So it said that, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, right? That's what it said in the Hebrew. It says the souls that they made. So how do you make a soul? The word is aseh, which means to make or to do. Okay.
Would that be? Yeah, I'm thinking how it says the Shema or complete. take care to hear the words and to do them. So that would that mean to teach someone the way of the Most High to the point where they do it as just naturally theirs?
Okay. So it's a situation where Sarah and Abraham and Sarah, whichever one. Abraham and Sarah, they were, it says in, I believe, Jasher, that they went to a city before this, or they went into Haran, right? And Abraham would speak to who? Okay, the Canaanites, but the men, and Sarah would speak to who? Okay, and they would, due to the fact that they're both speaking to, who they're called to, they would make souls, or as Adon said, they would teach them the ways and explain ways and so on and so forth, to where people would join on to them.
So basically, to go back to making a soul, once you teach somebody a new way, you're creating something new. The old, because I say it like that because before they were speaking to them, they was living how they was living.
Right.
So when they started to teach them a whole new way of living, like one would say, "Oh, I'm a new creation." Yeah.
Right.
Born
Right.
or else born again. You know. So
You
that's
have
that. So you actually created that by the teaching.
Right. Are you at the hand?
Yeah, I'm just going to back off that and say that people that may have known you at a certain time in your life, if it's been years since they last seen you, I want you to know they may not even recognize you.
Right.
Because you are preaching, you being the image and everything coming off you is different.
You are a different person. Let's go to the book of Yeshua, commonly called Isaiah chapter 2, 1-3. Oh, no, Yeshua chapter 2. Chapter 2, starting at verses 1-3.
The prophecy that Yeshayahu, son of Amos, saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem. It will happen in the end of days. The mountain of the temple of Yahweh will be firmly established as the head of the mountains, and it will be exalted above the hills, and all the nations will stream to it. Many peoples will go and say, "Come, let us go to the mountain of Yahweh, to the temple of the Elohim of Yaakov, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths."
So, so that the nations, many peoples or nations, they're gonna come and they're gonna say, we're going to Jerusalem. Now, how they're gonna get there? Let's go to Zechariah chapter 8. 8 verses 18-23. Zechariah, commonly called Zechariah chapter 8, verses 18-23. Now, do you read? Okay, verse 18-23.
The word before a host came unto me saying, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, fast of the 4th month, and fast the 5th, and fast the 7th, and fast the 10th shall be to the house of Judah. Joy and gladness and cheerful feast. Love and truth and peace, thus says the Lord of hosts. It shall come to pass that there shall come people, the inhabitants of many cities, the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, Let us go speedily to pray before Yahuwah and speak before of hosts. I will go also. Yea, many people and strong nations shall come to seek before of hosts in Jerusalem and to pray before Yahuwah. Thus says the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nation, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, We will go with you, for we have heard that Yahuwah is with you.
Okay, so they shall say, sleek out was answering. Brothers. Okay, they shall say that we know that Israel is. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Mayor. The 10, is that symbolic of completeness for the 10 tribes and the other step? I've seen it as used as both, or can it be applied to because in Isaiah 2, it makes reference of the lost tribe, lost sheep of Israel of the northern kingdom. Where it says they will grab the skirt of their brothers. In chapter 2, I don't know if this is referencing that or
They
the
said
10
they were-
yeah, I think it was Isaiah.
So the brothers,
I think it was something they made reference to something that they're. I was wondering if that was.
when they hold it in the movie,
Maybe I'd have to find it. I don't know if that was making reference.
the 10 tribes of Israel.
Yeah, what was it?
I would more say that that's the completeness as a 10 as a complete number, as opposed to 10 tribes. Yes, sir. I see.
Okay, could the 10 possibly be, because how you have the prophecy of the statute of Daniel, where the 10 toes represents the mixture of different nations? Could that be, since it's saying context that multiple, different mighty nations will come together to do so, given that this is the end time prophecy?
As in, it's a multitude of nations. Okay, because it says, that's the 10 men shall take hold out of all the languages of the nation. So you're talking about different cultures within different nations.
Oh, it was Isaiah 3:6. It said, when a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, thou hast spoken, thou art a ruler, let this room be under thy hand. I don't know, that was wrong reference here for that verse. So I didn't know if that.
I don't know why they have.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's look at that afterwards, but I don't know why they would have Northern Kingdom grab hold of Southern Kingdom. Because in those particular prophecies like that, which is in the book of Ezekiel, is telling you that they're going to go together to seek the Creator. So it's not like, well, I'm gonna grab a hold of you because you already know where to go. It says that both the house of Israel and the house of Judah are going to go and try to find a way to backpack the Creator together.
So when I hear the word strong nation, right? What comes to my mind is like it's prophecy, right? So today we know strong nations, Russia, China, of course, USA would be one of the strong nations. Could it be mixing with that because they've been strong nations for many years and they're going to get strong? See what I'm saying? You always hear about Russia. You always hear about stuff tied in with Jerusalem and all those things, but always hear Russia and China to this day since we've been living.
Yeah.
So could it be possibly like nations like that will draw near to Yahoo?
Yeah. Most of us say he has a river in every nation. So it's one in every nation.
And then that part of 10 men speak different 10 languages. Could that be also too, like speaking language of Chinese, Russian?
Yeah, yeah. It's talking about different languages, which are the language of different cultures.
Could there be connection? I think it's in the book of Isaiah where it talks about when we actually do come back to the land that we brought out of the nations we preside amongst. So could that kind of be like, all right, we know that you're the people, so we're going to bring you back into the land because that's the accepting that we know they want to be part of it, and they're trying to help us to get to where we are.
That's in the book of Isaiah 66, which is saying that the nations are going to bring the brethren like offerings to the Most High. And then he's going to take of your brother and make covenant and Levi or priest and Levi. Okay, so all of those are connected, right? So then, and then let's go to one more, and then I got a question. Shemot chapter 19, our ordinance. Shemot chapter 19. Psalm chapter 19, starting at verse, all we need is like 7, 8. One we say it's gonna be a nation.
It's just 7 here.
Yeah, I think that's the verse that it's gonna be a nation. That's verse 6. Sorry, verse 6.
You shall be to me a kingdom of ministers, kingdom of priests, and a holy nation. And these are the words that you shall speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and summoned to the elders of the people, put before them all the words that Yahweh had commanded. The entire people responded together and said, everything that Yahweh has spoken, you shall do.
Okay. Yes, you got 61.
Isn't this what Yahushua did in the synagogue?
Okay.
66.
61 verses 1 and 2. Isaiah, my fault. Yes, you got coming from Isaiah, my fault. Chapter 61. Somebody read verses 1 and 2.
Yeshayahu 61 verse 1. Yahuwah Adon Yahuwah is upon me, because Yahweh has anointed me to bring good news to the meek. He has sent me to bind up the broken heart, to proclaim release to the captive, and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all who mourn.
Oh, no, that's this one. Okay, so it said, that's not the one I wanted, but it's told because he said that he's healing the brokenhearted, freeing those who are captive, so on and so forth, right? Right, and that's what the spirit, right? Okay, which we're gonna touch on the spirit, but just understand what you're saying. All right, now let's go to Yeshua 60, so back tap. Yeshua chapter 60, verses 1 through 3. Yeah, Isaiah, Yeshua, comment for Isaiah, chapter 60, verses 1 through 10.
Arise, shine, for the light has arrived, and the glory of Yahweh shines upon you. For behold, darkness may cover the earth, and thick cloud may cover thy kingdom. But upon you, Yahweh will shine, his glory will be seen upon you.
Yes, sir.
Nations will walk by your light, and kings by the brilliance of your shine.
Hey. So darkness is on everybody else, there's light upon you, right? So, most I say with priesthood, people gonna grab a hold of your garments, whether that's the 10 laws maybe, which some people say there's a also for that, there's a passage in Talmud that says that most of the 10 tribes are in Africa. So, yeah, the 10 tribes are in Africa. The southern kingdom of Yehuda, they are the ones that were scattered throughout 4 corners. So Yehuda is throughout the 4 corners. Most of the 10 tribes are in the continent of Africa.
Share that traffic.
Yeah, so that's very wild. But anyway, so you say you're gonna be, priests and your light's gonna shine and so on and so forth. So who's ready for that? Who's ready for for you to be crowned as priests and for people to follow your light and to grab a hold of your ZC, like hold up, I who's ready for that?
Preparation. I think they already know we're not ready. But at the same time, like that mindset, like we need to be filled with the Ruach in order to do the Creator's will, and that would be great.
I want to land back what he said. I think what the doctor's saying is he ain't scared, but he want to do it the right way. Start a little one and work on up.
Because at a certain point, are you?
It's that humbleness. You want to do it the right way.
Yeah.
It's like trying to know how to learn a gun without like no gun training. You know what I'm saying?
So you're gonna try to be a little flex that takes what you're doing and not trying
Okay, so. Okay. Let's be loud so people can hear.
I think from your question, just listening to other people respond, it's kind of like saying that we have this image of what it's supposed to look like.
Mhm.
And not that as we are being perfected, then people will grab a hold of us. So when you say, well, I don't think I'm ready yet, you were never supposed to be ready. They're just watching how you move as the creator and they're connected to you. So when the question is asked, are you prepared? The question is, are you diligently seeking out the word to make sure that, hey, what you're doing, people are like, well, why do you do that? Well, why do you just, you know, what I mean, it's just simple things, not really, you know, the elaborate things.
So basically, we're thinking like completion.
Yeah, you're thinking high up there, let's
Yeah.
preach the word, but I mean, just in your everyday life, do you feel as if you are being that ambassador or that example towards?
I think what she just said brought me to, I'm going back in the day. When we went to, when we all went to Mount Trashmore, and we were supposed to speak to people. I know when I was like, what am I going to talk to these people about? But the question they was asking, I knew the answers. Hell yeah, because I was like, I hope they don't ask deep stuff. It was a simple stuff to where to them that was a lot, but to us, I'm like, yeah, I still learning. See what I'm saying? So that's a good picture that I saw.
And that's a prime example. So for those who don't know, when we worked with COI, we went to two events. One, we went to the Big Man March. That was what? I forgot when it was, but it was a few years ago. The one that they had in DC the most recently. So we went, and there was a bunch of us. You know, you had some of the more who was 10, 20 years in it, and you had some of us who was just now getting in it. And it was like we hit the ground and we just dispersed. And then people will come up to you and so on and so forth. And as a donor saying, you thinking, I hope they don't ask me no questions. But as they ask you questions, the ruach that is in you, even the Most High is bringing out of your answers. You like, I don't know how I knew that, but you just gonna keep rolling with it, right? And then we went to Mount Trashmore for one of the Black Lives Matter events, right? Mount Trashmore. We went up there. One of the Marines spoke, and everybody started to disperse. But as they started to disperse, we went up there in all white, and you would just see one person in all white and a little group around. One person all white, little groups around. And they would just be asking us questions, so on and so forth, and we would talk to the people. That's what Maisha was saying. That's what I'm talking. Are you ready to do that aspect? Not go to a play. I'm not saying we got to get a play, not like that. What I am saying is, are you ready in your everyday life? You in the store and they look at you and they're like, yo, I see you. And so on, and that conversation starts. Are you ready for the basics? Not the Mashiach being Yosephs or what are the UFOs and all of that. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that, right? So I just want to say all of you on Zoom are very lucky. Well, I'm gonna get y'all too. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna have role play. I had a conversation with Iman yesterday. She was like, some people just copy and paste scripture. Meaning somebody asks you a question or they're going through something, and you be like, oh, this, and that does say the Most High. How we do it? Like that doesn't do anything. Hey, exactly. It's not in you. You're just copying and pasting something. So how are you alive? They're in a moment of darkness, but you can't help them because you don't necessarily have the light within you in order to give to them. Yes.
Well, it says that the Ruach brings things to remembrance. So if you're not studying scripture, then there's nothing for him to pull from, for you to be able to resonate with people in their situation.
And what you should have said. The Most High, the Ruach is true. I could just have read something, and the Most High led it to be where somebody's gonna ask you something. But yo, I just read that last night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it happens to me. Don't worry.
Okay, so nobody get offended. If you don't know the answer, it's perfectly fine. I have some scripture references, and we can kind of talk about it and so on and so forth after, right? So let me see this on Zoom so I can see who I can bother. know a couple of y'all. All right, cool. So, for example, like, so, I see you, right? You always got these GTs, what are you?
Well, man, I guess you're a common term, I would you would consider.
Okay, what's that?
My nationality, saying that I consider myself Israelite because I consider Abraham, I consider myself.
Are you talking about the people with the curly? You a Jew?
You know, that would, there's the difference between bloodline Israelites and religion of Judaism.
Okay.
So the people that most of the world know as, you know, Jewish people, that would be what you would call, you know, people practice Judaism. But, you know,
Okay, I understand that. So you said that you were part of the people from the book. How you know that?
but you look at people within the world that you read about in Genesis and Revelation, so you can identify people by these things that are in the book. You go to chapters, maybe on Wednesday, here all the time.
Uh-huh.
You look at Deuteronomy 28, it's tied to curses to a particular people. You will see that all the way down to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. That's that.
Okay. Okay. So then what if I don't believe the Bible? Like, okay, I know the book, people can say the book. So is there like anything historically maybe or anything like that that you can pull from? Because I hear what you're saying about the Bible, but you just put yourself in the Bible.
They can, but look, what happened after, say, you go to a war between Rome and Jerusalem. You track the migration process. Where did people of Israel that made it out? Where did they migrate to? As well as taking slavery that lost the war. You'll see that you study the migration of languages as well as the old culture and the great culture of the tribes in Africa. Negroes or so-called African Americans. You can see that those tribes were connected to Israel.
Okay. Cool. All right, so let me try.
Is it in the car?
I think okay, so that was an excellent answer. Of course, I went to him. He kind of cheated because he's a history major. But hey, so he said that we're in 28, right? So what are some other scriptures? This is for everybody. What are some other scriptures that you can go to that you can kind of point to and be like, well, this is what occurred, and then we can go to the historical side and prove it. What are some other scriptures?
Bereshit 15 and 13.
Okay. Bereshit comes on Genesis chapter 15,
Bring it on.
13 through 15. It says, know for a surety that your descendants will be will sojourn in the land that is not theirs, and they will be afflicted for 400 years. And after 400 years, their nation will be judged, and they will come out with great resources, right? So I would ask a question like, well, weren't they in Egypt for 430 years?
I know the answer is no, but I don't know.
No, so because they were okay. So if you don't know, I'm speaking. So no, yes, sir.
They were in Egypt at that time, they just weren't in servitude.
And one, they were not in servitude for 430 years, and two, that 430 years is from the time of Abraham all the way up to when they left. So Abraham was not a servant, he was sojourning in the land, he was not afflicted. So that does not correspond to that. Right? What are some other scriptures? What about the other blessings and curses?
I just want to say before we got off there, especially connect people that know a lot of history that say the slave trade started before that. That is true, but we had to do 400 years in a particular nation that is described. We had to do 400 years, and so we got here to that particular nation lot of times, people, America, they had to be, so that's the 400 years, that's why I'm counting 1492. Because the young lady were being enslaved in the year 1690, all over the year to the door of Babylon.
So, okay,
And they will, because they know that they think they got you with that. Well, you know how they
okay,
they think they got you with that. You be like, well, I understand everything, it's true. But everything has to fit. You know.
I'm gonna, we should do a scripture.
yes.
Find out.
Hey,
So we go like beginning. I'm gonna go with Abraham when his name got changed. Bereshit 17, and from 6 to say 8, we change his name and be the covenant of bless your seed. You know, before you're gonna be as many nations and your seed after your seed after your seed. So like how he explained to that person, well, I know I'm gonna eat because of Abraham, and I know my Israelite seed of Jacob. That's that continuation.
okay.
How it described in chapter 17:6.
So, where else is a list of blessings and curses? Yosef, I know you online, you should know that.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 1.
I know, okay, so I don't know where Deuteronomy 28. Huh? Okay, it's in.
Question now, disclaimer, this is not in the 12 tribes chart context. But we need to think about Genesis 49. I'm sorry,
Genesis 49, as in blessing, the blessing of Yaakov.
blessing, but question, how can you use the scriptures to show the people and kind of correlate that between history and culture and things like that?
So, yeah, it should be. Okay, so as far as the blessing curses, well, the blessings in Genesis 49, you could, I think that would be a little bit more, difficult to do. Yeah. Because you have to, but Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, those are two. What about Jeremiah 17:4? Book of Yirmiyahu comes on Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. Book of Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. For those on Zoom, this is you should have it. Can somebody read that for me?
You will be forced to withdraw from your heritage that I have given you, and I will enslave you to your enemies and a land to which you know not. For you have ignited a fire in my wrath, and it will burn forever.
Okay, so you will be withdrawn or you will be discontinued with some other translations from your heritage.
That right there,
Can you speak up a little
oh, yeah, and that's also a red flag for the people that Muslim world know as a modern day Jewry. The first thing they say is that they never disconnected, so it's like you don't fit the bill.
Okay.
And then on what you're saying, how can you reconcile going back to the land in 1948 and there's still more than going on when prophecy says these are places?
Which goes back to Isaiah chapter 2. So Shlomo will say Isaiah chapter 2. How can they come back to the land in 1948, 47? Disclaimer, this is not a Jew bashing episode. This is just a truth and knowing who you are and who everybody else isn't. But hey, how can you come back in 1947, 1948 when the prophecy says that when you come back into the land, first you will be taken there by Mashiach, and then 2, there will be no more war, which goes back to Isaiah chapter 2 that we read. If you keep going down, it'll say that there will be no more war, since Israel pays for the war anyway.
Right.
Okay, so okay, it was a war in order for you to get there. So there's certain things like that. All right, so now let's go to the historical context, right? So Adon says something very interesting. So in the year of 70 AD, what occurred?
The destruction and sacking of Jerusalem.
Okay, so that's a marker as far as the destruction of the temple. Then you have wars continuing after that, right? such as the Bar Kokhba, revolt, so on and so forth. And then, okay, so you got that going on, and then Yisrael is kicked out of the land. And then the migration, they went where? They say 1 million or some odd Jews or Israelites went where? Into Africa. So, northeast. And then, okay. So some went northeast and they went down. That's where you have Limba tribe, which is where? South, okay, Zimbabwe, South Africa. You go north, you got cartridge and stuff like that. And then we made our way west. Okay, go ahead.
Give you a little nugget. In the Congo, the people that migrated there, which was Israelites or whatever, but the kingdom they developed, the first one was called Congo de Total. So you got people that migrated from the north. They came, they created a king called Kingdom of Eternity. So who else on earth is gonna go somewhere and build something and name it after eternity?
Okay, Kingdom of Eternity.
Yeah.
There you go. Go ahead.
Also too, we probably people like that.
Yes, we go.
Excuse me. You brought up the Limba tribe, and you also participated in those parts too. But even before 70 AD, after during the Assyrian captivity, people took that route. Did it too. So
Those were the people that they ran to.
Okay. So you had, as Adon was saying, in the Assyria captivity. So you have two major captivities in our history. Well, a lot, but once the split happened, Northern Kingdom was taken out by the first captivity, which was the Assyrian captivity. They were disbanded from the land. They are the ones that scattered, and they are the ones that kind of scattered throughout South Africa. And then, you know, some say that they went and they wound up over here in America. Which there's evidence for. But anyway, so you have that concept, and then as Adon was saying, in 70 AD, some of our people went the same route they went and actually ran to the Limba tribe. So then you go to West Africa, and you have what tribes over there are mostly in the Americas, in the Caribbean now. The Igbo. That one? That one? The Mindi. So you have multiple tribes over there, right? So then they say, so the two major ones that most people know are the Igbo, which is in Nigeria, and then the Ashanti, which is where? In Ghana. So from those two tribes, they say that 85%, give or take, maybe at the minimum 70% of those who were taken on the Atlantic slave trade were from what tribe? The Igbo tribe. So you have 70% of slaves that were taken over here, and mostly in the Caribbean, and a small portion in America are from the Igbo. The Igbo trace their history back to Israel. Then you have the Ashanti. There's a couple people, one major who was called Black Moses. She's from the Ashanti tribe. Who was who? Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman is from the Ashanti tribe. She knew her lineage. She was what they would call a Tanakh only. But okay, so she knew who she was. Her real name is what? Anybody know Harriet's real name? They had it in the movie. Harriet Tubman's real name is Araminta Ross. Araminta, which is her first name is Hebrew for lofty, which means that she was tall. So she had a Hebrew name, which in the movie, that's why they call her Minty. They call her Minty in the movie because the real name is Araminta Ross. Right? So she's from the Ashanti tribe. You can trace her lineage back there. But you have these two. So you have those, you have some of the kingdoms that were in Africa. Books that were written in regards to white Europeans going into Africa, and their description of the Jews they were swarthy, right? That's the word, swarthy, which means dark. They were dark skinned people. So that's we're not gonna harken on that question, but these are some of the things that for you to know who you are, these are some things that you can, like, amend them, value two books, value the dry bones, and there are, other books and stuff like that, but. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. But, okay.
Language is also something that people will be able to relate to because those people.
Just talk louder.
Yeah, if you get into the Gullah people, which a lot of people are familiar with that. And he's in the Gullah. Well, something they used to pick on my mother about because her family was from this, she growing up in Suffolk, but she went back to South Carolina, and they believe she was in Gullah. But now that allows us to identify ourselves because the Gullah and what they call Gullah language is a break off of the Bantu language. The Bantu language is a break off of the Hebrew. It's the Hebrew dialect that developed when we went into Africa. That's why we got the Yahuda, Yahunde. Then we developed a dialect. But those people can understand the Gullah people. Bantus in Africa can understand what the Gullah people are saying. So the language is also a way to trace the migration along with the migration route and connection of the language to be able to identify people.
Oh, yeah.
And those that either Beamer or if you look up the word Gullah, it has something to do with that's why they call themselves that because they were very involved in the Summer Wars. And the Gullahs fought hard. It's a lot of history that I'm still researching and I'm getting into what it's taught to be because the Gullahs had a war in the South. And they had way more land than they wanted to know about. And they fought along with the Seminoles and with the runaways and the things of that nature. And they always identified with the drums. If they hear the drums, they knew where to go. Like the maroons in Jamaica. Hey. That's why even when we play the drums, as soon as they get off the boat, and the maroons will be up in the hill and they playing drums, the brothers just break out.
Yeah, of course.
And then they just wake up and they pass a certain part of the jungle. It's like,
And that right there kind of makes me think of our people in Brazil.
Same.
They would play the drums to kind of teach them how to do themselves, but when the slave masters come up to hit
Which most of the slaves went to South America as opposed to most people think that they came here. Another way, slavevoyager.com, I think is a place where you can find the names of the slaves. And a lot of the names will have Hebrew names or the word Yah in their last name or in their name. Of course, there are people who have that. As well as what you say, slave voyager. Slave voyager. As well as Hebrew words like masa. Masa is the Hebrew word, is not broken English.
And that's we call it spring cleaning. The reason why I know is because my imam, my great grandmother, when it came time for like spring cleaning, people thought she was all like, I'm not outside beating rugs, but the concept of spring cleaning was cleaning for the peace.
And another one too, the word copacetic, from the Hebrew word copacetic.
We did this way. Anyway, we did this way. Okay. Are there any questions in regards to this topic and some of the things that we went over on this particular question? Call second. Okay. Call second. All right. Second question. E.
You gotta go.
E. I need everybody to look at me. I'm European. Cool. E. Why are you here with all these people? You know the names of the people you have to serve them, right? Why are you doing it? Yeah.
He's the old.
How do you want me to answer it? Like,
You-
seems like someone just ran in.
Random,
Let's say you wait.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
You in the break room.
a place that answer it in a way that y'all not gonna be able to fight. Answer it, diplomatically. According to the scripture, according to history, according to, yeah, so you need your case.
All right, I mean, kind of how I've spoken about. People before, that were even European, as you would say. Let's say because they, based on the history research about study, kind of the whole conversation we just had, migration, takes some of these books and they would be true people. And it said that that is the only nation that the Most High has dealt with. So I'm not dealing with them and doing the rules that their nation is supposed to abide by, and I'm not getting dealt with the Most High. So, it's like, I know one thing, how it doesn't matter. Well, I don't see how it wouldn't matter, because it tells us that they wouldn't know their heritage, they would know their true ancestry, and, most of the people that are here can't trace past their enslaved ancestors that have been brought here, which is the description. Also, and again, not to be on the dashing, but if it doesn't matter, then why does your religious institution feel to financially fund the so-called? I mean, not that they can't be processed by some acting as well, but those who claim to be. And then I go to the table of nations, 10. So if I identify as an Ashkenazi, sending a job that should be come from Shem, so that in their encyclopedia, they discount themselves as the true bloodline. It don't matter. Why are they mentioned specifically in Revelation? Why are they
Cut it.
Why is it associated in the New Temple Kingdom specifically named by the I mean, if it doesn't matter, then you ain't okay, then you should stop sending your money for that. I mean, next time.
You really got cut.
Okay, so, those were correct. Okay, so what are some other places that you can go to and kind of, so not going to the aspect of, who the real Yahudim are, because we just went over that, but in regards to the, stranger, in regards to the stranger that was amongst you, where could you go to show that it's not only bloodline Israel, but it's those who also like attach themselves to Israel that get salvation.
Okay.
Because some people are saying that they can't hear.
Yes, we got.
So,
I got something. Yeah, come to us. Come to
you
the.
gotta bring.
You can come up here.
Oh, because I don't need to go like,
It's the Hebrew talk show.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. I didn't want to.
all right, so, anybody answer, I just asked them, to start it off, but the question is, what are some scriptures that you can go to that would, that you can pull in regards to strangers being, granted salvation, being grafting in, being grafted into Israel? Yeah.
Genesis 17 was about circumcision of strangers that are brought in. Exodus 12 talk about unleavened bread and Passover.
Okay, so hold on, so we're gonna do, so we'll read something,
Okay.
one, because we're going a little fast, so what do you read, have those. So you said, Bereshit, how many called Genesis chapter 17?
Yeah. We got 8 through 13 and 21, 27. specifically talking about the agreement of these strangers, circumcision.
And it said, and I will give unto thee into thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. And Elohim said to Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore you and your seed after you and your generations. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you, and your seed after you. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and this shall be a token of the covenant between me and you. And he that is 8 years old shall be circumcised among you. Every man shall in your generations, he that is born in your house, or born for the money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. He that is born in your house, and he that is born with money must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. So, okay, that's not me saying that Israel needs to be circumcised, but even the stranger that is within the house, which in that day would have literally been in the house, but that now join themselves to Israel, they need to be circumcised because they are also part of the covenant.
I got a question about the scripture I'm gonna bring out. I want to get your answer for it. What do you feel here? This is from Deuteronomy 28. And it's gonna be 9 and 10, verses 9 and 10.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So Yah shall establish thee a holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, walk in his ways, and all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of God, and they shall be afraid of thee. So when I hear that, people fear what they don't know, right? They ask questions, why this, why that? Like you ask me, you know you didn't exactly what it is. Now, being afraid, that's a sign of being afraid, because I got people, like I say, then this, that. How young people crash that, we supposed to be, Can that line up with that? It's just to do this is the prophecy.
And we're going to be called
So people who call us somebody they call me, people get shook like, why this, why that? Who are they supposed to be? When people ask questions like that, that's a sign of fear.
Okay, so that word there for fear is Iraq, which does mean the fear, right? But that's the same word that also you should have the fear of God. So the same, so they're not necessarily fearing you, they're fearing what you stand for. So like when you look at the situation of Abraham when he was trying to bury his Ishak, Sarah, right? And he was like, let me buy my land and so forth from you. And it was like, no, you can have it. You are a prince of Elohim. So they fear and they reverence and they respect him as a representative, or some would say even an ambassador of the creator on earth. So if we are called by the name, not only having our names with Yah in it, but we are invoking the character of the creator. Right? So our presence invokes the character of the creator, then people are going to fear that. If you have a nation that can't be touched because they're righteous, and they cannot be moved, they can't be beat, anything, that's going to cause you to reverence.
Right.
So now they're like, whatever y'all need, we got it for y'all because we understand who you represent. So not you, it's about who you represent. Because right now, they don't fear anything, although we are, the name of the creator is still on us, but we're not invoking that. So we're not feared. But if you get a group of righteous men, a community, or even a state, whatever, of righteousness, to where every time somebody tries to do something, they can't be touched, they go hands off. We have to respect what they're doing.
So it's going to be more of an action that people have to see. So they can easily say, why are these people together like this? They do this like that. I tell you right now, every time I look again, the Jewish people out there, that's a community.
And that's
I'm
why
sorry.
people reverence or respect
Yeah.
for what they do. They're set apart, their children are set apart, they got school buses with Hebrew on it, they got their own security,
Restaurants.
they got everything for it. They are moving the way that a nation that says that they are from God are supposed to move. They are set apart. So we can't necessarily even get mad at them for doing that. We get mad at the whole story not doing it. But we can't get mad with them walking in the principles of the Creator. Because those principles, although they were given to us to teach the nation, we were supposed to still teach the nations how to walk like that. We're just not walking like that. So you can't get mad at somebody taking what you gave them and doing it, and now you're not doing it.
I look at that as part of the whole part of it, to jealousy. It kind of shot, you probably point out, but I know it said that our pride is restricted to jealousy. I look at that as part of, I hate law, it's a very,
Right.
because they actually. They're doing supposed to be.
Right. You said I will raise up a no people to cause Israel to be jealous because they have made me jealous with no gods. Right. But no, we always doing something wrong. Back to the stranger aspect, right? So, you read Bereshit. What else?
This is in the New Testament. I guess it's just an example of what you're talking about. Where Paul had to give one of the guys that was born with the circumcised.
Timothy. Okay, so that's when Shaul circumcised Timothy, right? Let's go to Yeshayahu, commonly called Isaiah chapter 56. This is, it may seem like we're everywhere, but it's not. This is another way how, once you have removed the leaven, you have removed the prophecy, something must be poured into you. So then, once again, you can speak and walk how, you can speak and walk the culture. This is why the Shema says, speak up when you lie down, when you rise up, when you're in your house, when you by the way, so you can know it. And when there's somebody who comes up against you, or you can ask questions, and because they are intrigued, you're able to give them answers and not, well, as some, as church would say, well, because my pastor said so. The Most High, when we read about Pesach, he said that when your children ask you, why we do this thing, you're supposed to say this. Not well, because, our forefathers did this a long time ago, and we just been doing it ever since. No, there's a story behind why we do it. So if you have a story, then you're able to explain it. Yeshayahu chapter 56, verses 3 through 8. Somebody read those? What yourself?
3 through 8.
Okay.
Find ears and come unto me, hear, and your soul shall live. I will make an everlasting covenant.
This is gonna be empty.
Even sure mercy and good. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and commander to the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew thee shall run unto thee, that knew not thee shall run unto thee. Because,
Which chapter is that?
oh, I'm a 55. What'd you say?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
You said
66, 3 to 6.
56, 3 through 8.
3 through 8. I'll call. 3 through 8. All right. He let the son of the stranger that has joined himself to you who I speak, saying, that who hath utterly separated me from his people, neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. For thus says Yahuwah unto the eunuchs, that keep my Sabbaths, and choose the things that please me, and take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in my house and within my walls a place and a name better than of the sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name, and shall not be cut off. Also the sons of the stranger that join themselves to Yahuwah, to serve him, to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants. Everyone that keeps the Sabbath from polluting it, takes hold of my covenant. Even then will I bring unto my holy mountain, to make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar. And mine house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. And Yahuwah thy Elohim, which gathers the outcasts of Israel, says, yet will I gather others to him besides those that are gathered.
Okay. And one more, Deuteronomy 29, 9 to 15. And then I'm gonna ask people to kind of like, without quoting the scriptures, can you explain what the scriptures are saying? one thing to be able to, point, pinpoint, shoot, but you don't have anything, the phone and things like that, could you speak with the scriptures I say to somebody without having to quote? Okay, 29, that one comes from Deuteronomy chapter 29, verses 9 to 15.
You are standing today, all of you, for Yahuwah, your Elohim, the heads of your tribes, your elders, your officers, all the men of Israel, your small children, your women, and your proselyte who is in the midst of your camp. From the hewer of your wood to a drawer of your water, for you to pass into the covenant of Yahuwah, your Elohim, and into his imprecation that Yahuwah, your Elohim, seals with you today, in order to establish you today as a people to him, and that he be your Elohim to you, as he spoke to you, and as he swore to your forefathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Yaakov. Not with you alone do I seal this covenant in this imprecation, but with whoever is here standing with us today before Yahweh, our Elohim, and with whoever is not here with us today.
Okay, so with all that, for this particular question, can somebody sum up the aspect of why are there strangers within the camp of your connection? You hear other people say, well, we don't deal with Africans, or we don't deal with quote unquote white man, we don't deal with any other nation. Somebody, yes.
I'm just going to do it. Just because, especially when it talks about the Hebrews of wood, the jars of water, that goes back to Indian things, right? That who kind of tricked Yehoshua into bringing them into the fold because they were a Canaanite clan, but they had so they acted like they dressed up in baggy clothes, had old shoes. It's like, oh, we came from this distant land. We heard about what created and stuff. You were part of that. Come to find out, they weren't. So that to me is saying, no matter what your background is, you can still keep this. So because I made this covenant with your ancestors, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, you and your descendants are a part of this. But at the same time, with anyone who's not of this, like people who came out of Israel with you, Egyptians, Ethiopians, whatever, is for them too, or anyone that accepts this.
Just to, okay, because at the end of the day, the Most High wanted a relationship with who in the beginning?
All men.
Okay, all men. So it went from a funnel where he wanted a relationship with all men, he went down to Abraham, and it went down to the nation of Israel. Now from the nation of Israel, we have the sojourners, and then eventually you're gonna have priests in every nation to rekindle the relationship that should have been from the beginning. So in the beginning, the original intent was that all men follow the instructions of the Creator, but you will have teachers and priests who are going to, as he said in Shabbat 19, be ahead of those other nations. That's it. We are set apart to be the head of the other nations, but we still have to teach and bring in the other nations. That's the whole purpose. Okay. Another quick one. Now, what are those things that you shirt, right?
Oh, these? No. These are zizis. Some call it zizis, some call it fringes. It's a command that the Most High gives us in numbers. I'm not gonna go through, but it tells the Israelites should wear these on their garments, on the borders of their garments.
Okay.
Keep meaning to keep the command.
Okay, so you are reminded that that can be found where? Anybody know that's found that?
Deuteronomy,
Are you talking commandments or?
Deuteronomy 20, 12.
Are you talking about what they keep the?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Numbers 15, 38, 39 is one of the never regular good one. It's in both places. Okay, that was easy. This is a cultural assessment.
What do you say about those, like, what if I don't?
What if you don't learn? Then you are just out of custom. You are outside of your culture. You are outside of your culture.
You should go with what your mind says.
Yes.
So, I see the nation, I see the nation that y'all have picked, right? Some of y'all got multiple wives. What is this whole multiple wives?
You say pimps? Who's talking? Who's talking?
Anybody, what's this whole multiple wives?
Let the ladies answer them. Oh, let the sisters.
You can have what you can afford.
Put the camera on that.
For real, he said it too quickly though.
Put the camera on that.
You have to repeat what you said.
You can have what you can afford.
So those said you can have multiple wives, because you can afford. Now, what would you find? No, no.
I would say that would be wouldn't necessarily be frowned upon because of but they were looking for, they were gifts from their ishas and trade, they were brought into the family to serve purpose such as bearing fruit when they could not use it.
So he didn't bring that back. He said the who brought the what now?
Ishas, not all the time, but would present them as gifts to the husband, say when they couldn't.
So now the husband was like the East.
They were not there because they still had Solomon went.
But yeah, like 100 wives was crazy.
Right.
King was supposed to multiply.
So, okay, that's perfect, and yes, so, I'm gonna put both those together. So, one, it is a, Near Eastern ancient custom that was done throughout the world, not just in Israel, but in other nations, where some men, some would have multiple wives. Like the double said, most of the time it was not the men seeking that, it was, the Nazi or the women bringing other women into the fold, whether they needed help, whether they, could not produce seed, it was just a custom within that culture. Now, based on that culture, what every other culture was doing, the Most High, because he was righteous, put guidelines in place in order to do that. Which was when Shay Shamar said, which you can find in the book of Nazarene. Let's go there real quick. Book of Nazarene, company called Deuteronomy. I'm sleep out. Shemot company called Exodus chapter 21. So we're going to Exodus chapter 21. Shay Shamar said, and you read verses 7 through 11. So Shemot company called Exodus chapter 21, verses 7 through 11.
And if a man sell his daughter to a maidservant, she shall not go out and maidservant. She pleased not her master, who has brought her to himself, and shall let her be. Sell her unto a stranger's nation. He shall have no power, seeing he has dealt exceedingly with her. And if he hath brought her unto his son, after the manner of the daughters, if he take him another wife, her food and raiment and her duties of marriage shall not be diminished. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free with her money.
Okay, so that right there, one is saying that there are, which is why, you will hear throughout Israel that we don't care, or we don't care about so forth. That right there is outline the rights of the daughters, right? So the rights of the daughters or the rights of a wife, they are entitled to, at the bare minimum, they are entitled to three things. That is, it said what, food, clothing, and conjugal rights, which grown people, we know what conjugal rights are. So those three things are not to diminish if you take on a second wife. If those things do diminish, then you are to let the first wife go. Also, we can go to the book of Deuteronomy. It is Deuteronomy chapter 21, same 15 through 23.
The first wife?
Yes.
You have to explain why the first wife you have to let go.
Because she was there first, so all of her things are tight. So whatever you gave the first wife, that is not to the first wife.
So isn't it the second?
I was confused on what you were saying when you said let the first wife go.
You let the first wife go if she wants to leave.
If she wants to leave, I was trying to understand what you were saying.
Yeah.
You were saying that if you have the second wife and you cannot give the same thing, then why was it let the, yes, I was confused on what you were saying.
If you have a wife, right? So say you got wife A, bring on wife B. Everything that wife A had cannot diminish.
Okay,
So if it does diminish, then she can be let go free.
if she complains that it's diminished.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, where's the,
She can leave. She will go to the elder at the gate, and she will bring the case before the elders at the gate. And then they can be her.
but what if it's the opposite way? What if she does not want to leave? She wants the rest of her stuff to come back the way it was. Why not just let the second wife go? I mean, it's a real question. Like, if I don't got no issues, everything was good the way it was until she came. That's the problem, not me. But I don't want to leave. That's what I'm saying. Because you're saying only if that person wants to leave. What I'm saying is if they don't want to leave and they want their stuff back the way it was, because whatever the factor that changed my status needs to go, clearly. Nah, we might need to revisit that.
She brought her in.
You gotta go now. And I have the right to do that because I'm the first threat, just like Sarah did. Good job, E. He's always on my side. Technically, it was a little bit of, it was, you know, she's still a handmaid. Yes, she was. But it goes back to the topic of what he was saying, that usually the wife chooses. So if I've chose this and then you couldn't, you know, do what you need to do, then I can get rid of. Okay.
Concubine does not have a price tag. That's what Hagar would have been.
Okay.
But she's also hid by Abraham. She first got to it. She was like, yo, that's your handmaid. Do whatever you want to with your handmaid. So that's why she ran off. And then the angel didn't say go back to Abraham.
But bringing it to 2021 is what I'm saying.
Bring it to 2021.
We don't have random handmaids that we can hand off. So
No.
what are they being handed off as? Not a concubine.
They are being given as a second wife.
So that's why I was asking the question
But you
as to
can't
bringing it
kick
to
her
20
out.
to 21.
You can't kick her out. Only the man will be able to.
But if it's the man's job to uphold the status of the first wife also with the second wife, then that means that you are not doing your job. So you have to get rid of whatever the factor was that kept you from doing your original job. That's what I'm asking.
And if the wife can free, which was the first step. Talking about the first wife, you have,
But the first wife complaining is what you're saying.
yeah, the first wife, wives have the minutes. So she goes to the judge, they do whatever they do, they say, well, yes, you have not done your job, she can go free. Now, if she does not want to go free, then she got to deal with whatever's going on there.
Okay, that's the question. That was the answer that I was looking for. I'm trying to figure out the question as to, okay, what if it's the opposite way as to she doesn't want to be let free? So that's why I was asking, what is left to do?
He already took one step. Later, couldn't tell, not told to get rid of it.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to. Yes,
Bill Hart, Zilhart, they got,
okay,
they said you chose, but not wow, even though the first wife is usually the head of the house or the head of the house.
okay.
Usually, but if the second wife is a little more competent, then. This, anyway, All right, let's go to the next question.
There's a lot of fighting in people's houses.
All right, next question, in case everybody else. Why do you keep the law that Christ did away with?
Who's that?
Yeah. Oh, we talking about.
Yeah.
Who's gonna answer it? Cause everybody just talking.
Well, all the law, he nailed
So then
everything.
you.
He nailed everything to the cross.
Your own shot. Or break. And yeah, self-repeat. In his actually, look at the more magnified, because now it's doing the heart instead of just flesh. So now, if you're choosing not to, is magnifying your heart, that you're guilty.
Okay, that sounds good. It's true. But outside of 1 John 3:4, what else could you give me? So,
Was it Luke, man, Mark, where he talks about doing the Pharisees say on Moses, don't do like they do, because that 23, the Matthew, like, I don't know. Said, whatever they did, you do when Moses do that. So that means they would have even in the New Testament the law, but they say don't do like they do. They don't even do what they're reading out of the law.
also, you go to Matthew 5:17.
Classic.
Think not that I've come to the way of the Lord.
Yeah. So heaven and earth.
Now, 1 John.
That's all that too.
Those right.
Okay, okay, so if you were looking in the Old Testament, you go to Hebrew or Leviticus 18:5. It says that if a man do these commandments, he shall live by them. Okay, which also Romans 10:12. Also, Deuteronomy 30:19-20. Probably called Deuteronomy.
Can you share your notes on the chat in there? No, you wouldn't.
He hasn't written down anything in class. I suppose that's how he hasn't taken notes. Oh, Deuteronomy 30:19-20. It says, I place before you the choice of life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore, choose life, and you and your descendants may live. Matthew 5:17-19. And Revelation 22:14. That says, blessed is he that does the commandments, for they shall have 22:14. Yeah, that's yes.
So basically for that question, it's not not necessarily that the person wants to know why you do these commandments. It's more so them not having a right understanding of what was done away with. So when you're tackling that question, it's more so explain to them first what Yahusha came to do, what was nailed to that cross or that tree first. Then we can talk about what you should be doing right now, because it's most of the times when they come with that question, it's really because they don't even know what they're supposed to be doing.
Say that whole thing right there.
I said, this is the role of Christian doctrine. Boy.
Okay, so okay, this is gonna be long. I'm not. But in regards to how we shot and nailed to the tree, in that way, well, as far as sacrifice,
Right.
when they still doing sacrifice after that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so did he nail the sacrificial law to the cross?
No.
Oh, so what did he do away with it?
Sting of death or opening up paradise to the righteous.
It's more so the consequences.
You say what? Took back the priesthood, okay? I like that, I like that. So if he didn't nail anything, everything still stays the same, then what was his purpose?
You have to say that. Because the letter. Mm-hmm.
So everybody was on part of that, but if not, he was talking about how yes, God, 53 says the transgression of people placed upon the suffering servant of Isaiah 53, which, and also what he was saying was he took away the judgments
Cain.
and he implanted grace. The judgments of what people, who was he there for? Lost sheep of the house of Israel, which goes, now you have to talk about why was Israel lost? Why was Israel lost? They were scattered based on what?
Disobedience.
Okay, disobedience, and based on their disobedience, the Most High gave them a bill of what?
Divorce.
Okay, a bill of divorce.
That's why I was saying when you're coming into that topic, it is more than just what they're asking. So you kind of have to walk them through it so that they understand where you're coming from. Because if you just throw scriptures at it, then it doesn't work because there's a whole backstory that they're missing.
Yeah. Yeah. So then it would have to start kind of from the beginning of aspect of Yahushua was sent, as he said, to the lost Israel. The people of Israel that were scattered and given a bill of divorce. So as the first Pesach lamb was to preserve the firstborn of the created, the quote unquote Pesach lamb of Yahushua was to preserve the firstborn. And now, because of that, not only as Yeshua says, I will not only have you redeem Israel, but now I will give you as a light unto the nation, as a banner unto the nation. So now all of the nations that are willing to believe that he was Mashiach, now they are able to come in and get grafted in. So, yeah. The bonus question was, how do you know Yahushua is Mashiach or not?
That's a whole other one.
I have a question. How would you, what Daniel says it in this week, he cut off the, how it's worded, you know, talk about the, would that would be one of the new days, that would be doing the sacrifice. But because the temple was up until it was destroyed, it would have had to keep going, but then once done, that would have gone away with it, so his return would be then reestablished, the priesthood would be reestablished.
Yeah, the priesthood will be reestablished as Ezekiel 44, I believe. Ezekiel 44 that speaks about the priesthood, but also in the midst of the week. So some would say that what was spoken of in Daniel is what occurred in Maccabees. When the sacrificial system being done away with for a particular time. So you have some people who would historically place it there. But then after 70 AD, the sacrificial system was suspended based on the fact that
And another reason why I wouldn't recommend throwing away works like Mishnah, things of that nature, because you look at the Sotah trial of Waver White, and you saw what a Waver White or wife who committed adultery, some of the things that she had to prove. Israel being described in Yahuwah, and Yahushua representing, Yahuwah being the son of he was supposed to have. So when we say he took on our sins and things of that nature. You look at the Sultan, and then you look at everything being tied up, being beaten, the crown and all of that. It makes us like understand that, him dying for Israel, as we would say, it was to keep it, but for us to have a way back in, because you can't remarry a wife that's cheated on you unless you die. So we came in and we wanted to keep things going. So we go back, that's why the whole country is not going. And so that's why I wouldn't go away like this. I ain't saying you have to read it, but I would just toss it because it gives us more understanding of why,
King.
why he came. He went through trial of the way of life. He was the way of life. He was all. Not cheating on, I know him. That was the way that he made his kid back in.
So that the midst of the week wouldn't be able to tie that to like the historical crucifixion of him being cut off. This is the week and that 3 days, 1905. Yeah.
So this week, they said the place out that day was going to rugby on Wednesday. Okay, I'm just telling you what they're gonna say in regards to historically as far as what occurred in Maccabees. But, kind of, I was just gonna talk with, Maccabees. Speaking of Maccabees, yeah, that's what occurred, but I would say that when you talk about this in the week, I was watching something about it that says that prophecies can be fulfilled more than once.
Right. Yeah.
So like, he was talking about, down range 28, right? So down range 28, every time we were disobedient, prophecies for disobedience
Would be applied.
would apply.
Yeah.
So then how many times would you say so would you say that because it was applied once when we went to Babylon, that it doesn't apply now?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, you couldn't, because the Most High said every time you disobedient, I'm gonna bless you like this.
Right.
Leviticus 26, same thing. Okay, so you have prophecies that will be, some prophecies, not all prophecies. It's like the sun and the moon can't go away more than once. So some prophecies are only gonna be once, and then other prophecies, you're gonna have to, you don't have to, but you can say that those prophecies were done. So, another thing, so now we're gonna get kind of off of the doctrinal questions that people ask you would, fulfill. And now, I have a question in regards to, everyday life, right? So, some people have a issue with anger, right? So we can throw out scriptures about anger, so how would you explain the concept of anger and why not to get angry, what that leads to scripturally, but without using the scripture? So let's say I come in, right, and I'm upset, I got a hard day at work, so on and so forth, and I'm just living, spazzing. Or something just happened, I'm spazzing out. You throwing the scripture at me right now is not really work for me. So then how would you handle that type of situation?
I don't want to sound like a proverb. So I just heard people say an old proverb say, but like say if you're mad and everything, and we're talking, I would probably so many thought like, well, are you a Hebrew? You mad right now, or just a random person?
Random person.
Random. I'll say, well, brother, well, sister, I say, listen, just before you answer, before you do anything, you need to relax. You need to calm down your spirit, because when you when you proceed being angry, your next move might be foolish and not thought of. So if you move in an angry way, it's how whatever they're mad about, just before you just be quiet, listen to yourself real quick. Because I've been angry before. Move. Do foolish things.
Anybody else? How do you help somebody in their anger? So what was your life? Like current situation, your anger.
They have a hand up.
Somebody hand up a lot.
Bite.
Yourself.
Yourself.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Uh, I would say for this particular topic, for myself, and I'm gonna be as transparent as I possibly can. For those that truly know me, that I used to suffer from anger problems and anger issues. Probably don't see that now, but in regards to that, if I was to go back and talk to myself, and I say that, I would have to be empathetic when talking to myself and talking to somebody with anger issues and something like that, to, without using scripture, bring that person back out of their anger by understanding the reason and the causing of their anger, empathizing with them, trying to figure out what's the root problem of it. And in doing so, y'all both can get together, can work to a situation to where you can pull that brother, pull whoever that is out of that situation of their anger.
So
Oh, my bad.
anger is more than likely going to be solved through conversation, right? That's why most people may don't talk because they want to stay in anger. So and when I say not using scripture, I'm not saying that we're not coming from the word. It's just an aspect of having the spirit as opposed to the letter, right? So most people can only use the letter because they don't have the spirit.
I was gonna say, what is it, they were, soft, on terms with wrath, so like if you're dealing with an issue, they see that you're getting amped up, and they just gonna see you as a threat instead of an ally. So it's kind of more like a de-escalation thing. Show them that you're on their side, and then try to bring them down off their emotional high, so they don't make emotional decisions.
Something that we refer to that, verbal Judah. Something that we refer to that in my line of work is called verbal Judah, using your words, your demeanor, and your body stance, positioning to get a person to disarm from their anger, as long as you talk to them. So then at that point, it's one way or another, but you come in a certain kind of way, force is only going to be force. So you have to, like I said, de-escalate to take away back.
So anger, like y'all said, is just about soft answers. It's about having the ability, one, to empathize, like yourself said, because everybody has it. But yes, sir.
I would say tell them the story of how you stayed with this. You were angry, you never take it back. Right, that's something I use.
That's also, that way you can put yourself as how we said in their shoes, yourself, so in their shoes in order to kind of walk them through something. So that's anger, which is the fruit of the ruach, as they say, is patience and self-control. If you have patience and self-control, you can deal with somebody with anger. If not, then when they get angry, you're going to get angry, as no one said. So how would you deal with somebody who's doubtful? Something going on, they're in need of something. It's an opportunity for it to come through, but it's not guaranteed. So now you're dealing with the aspect of doubt. How do you speak to somebody who's in doubt, or how do you speak to yourself? Let's not do somebody else. How do you reconcile yourself in your doubt?
Well, in the scriptures, it always tells you to encourage yourself. And when it comes to encouraging yourself, it's usually you going down memory lane of how the Most High has brought you out of something. So when you come into the situation, you know that everything is kind of a test. Why am I in this place? Can I relate to this place as a place that I've been before? And how did the Most High bring me out of that place? So being able to encourage ourselves when we're in a place of doubt, usually when we're in a place of doubt, you're usually in a place of fear also. So why are you fearful of something, or what is causing you to doubt that thing?
So, going down there with like now, what if this is your first opportunity? the person that you're talking to, go back to the person. What if this is their first opportunity to have faith?
So we can talk as we can do top. Are you saying or like?
I would say whether they do or not is the difference. Is there a difference between dealing with somebody trying to encourage them whether or not they do?
You say this and that, you just need to birds and all that, then as long as you're doing what you're supposed to, think that work, doing your bargain and your bargain, walking down through what you walk, it'll be all good. Angry, it's gonna be challenging.
So, my question would be, could you use that same concept, just change the verbiage, as opposed to, you say you have faith on and so forth, right? And then now, go somebody who doesn't believe, but you be like, well, look, nothing positive comes from negative energy. So, your aspect of doubting and thinking of the worst of the situation, that's only going to manifest when it's thinking.
King.
When the same thing is in regards to faith. You can't have faith and fear in the same container. It doesn't work. It's gonna cancel each other out. So, okay, so it's different only in the verbiage that you use, but not the concept that you use. All right, what's it?
Historically, one of the reasons why many of the nations historically over time, we struck a lot of fear in people was how easily they used to in our form or in our antiquity, how easily we took them versus giving in, and why don't y'all just eat? Or, why don't you just do that? And we would take death over breaking the commands of the Most High. That's scary, because we understood the eternity, we understood the resurrection, we had that understanding. So dying was a little bit easier for us than other people. And that struck people because, they would just do it. They won't come in here and say, worship this naked dude with a flower on his head. Hey, we do it. Long as we gotta die. But these dudes, they just go down and just score like what? That struck fear in other nations.
Which you read in books like Maccabees or Esther, they're like, these Jews, they are a different type of people. You let the book of Ezra and Kim, and everybody go back and build the wall. He's like, yo, you let these people get this wall and stuff back up, you have a problem with it.
People always.
Because we are a people that, once we're good, we are strong, united. Like Adon said, we're not worried about death, because most of us have faith in something outside of this. Is when you don't have faith in stuff like this, stand for some form of anything, when you don't have faith in the creator or something like that, you are going to fear man and what man can do. That's why Yahushua can say, don't fear man and what man can do. Fear what the creator can do to you, because he can destroy your flesh and your soul. Well, which is the same thing. Your anyway, your body and your spirit. Your body and your spirit. He can destroy both. Man can destroy the body. So that's how you would do it. It's about, for you, since you believe, it's about going down living life, which is why David was able to encourage himself when they were ready to stone him. He was able to say, well, man, I fought lions, I fought bears, he held me, so on and so forth. He let me get caught by Shaul. I know he's gonna let me get through this. However it happens, he's gonna let me get through it. All right, so last one is unforgiveness. So say you have somebody who they don't love their parents, they can't stand their parents, and daddy wasn't there at the beginning, the mom, she went through her problems, so the mom ended up leaving. How do you talk to somebody who has unforgiveness? I'm using parents with anything. How do you deal with yourself with unforgiveness?
Me personally, I think out of all the things that people couldn't forgive me for the stuff that or that the creator, if he couldn't forgive me for that kind of leads me down the track. Forgive me of my trespasses. But that's just someone else. Doing someone like, I feel like it's the same concept, but it's more roundabout way. Because you want them to see where you're coming from without them thinking that you're going to buy it.
And so it's more like, well, have you ever done anything wrong? If you done anything wrong, okay, well, have you apologized to them? And how did you feel when they didn't accept your apology? The goal is always self-reflection, whether you're dealing with yourself or you're dealing with somebody else. The goal is always to have that person self-reflect on whether you want faith, whether you want forgiveness, whether you want patience or self-control. If you can look at yourself first, then usually you should be able to come out of that, righteous. As Joel said, you should always think of yourself as first, but that takes a certain amount of humility. Because a prideful man or a prideful woman is never going to look at themselves and put themselves in another person's shoes. They're only going to stay in their own shoes. Well, shoot, he hurt me. I don't care about that. Until they come to me, I don't want to hear about it. Not understanding that maybe that same thing you hurt somebody else, and they're waiting on you to do the same thing. So now you have multiple people out here who have unforgiveness in their heart, which causes health problems. If you want to just take away from the spiritual and go straight to physical, unforgiveness causes cancer.
Yep.
Stress, anxiety, heart attacks, all these things come from the fact that you don't want to forgive somebody, but you can just let it go and allow the healing process to begin. But most people, because of their ego or their pride, they don't feel that they are capable of being hurt. Ego says I can't be hurt, so you just hold on that unforgiveness. But if you let it go, you're broken, and then you allow the Creator to build you back up. All right, so we did the fruits of the spirit. We did questions. That bonus one on how would you build your case for Mashiach? That's I'm not gonna do it today, but that's coming. So just understand that's coming.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Where it talks about the king, priest, and Zechariah, is that Zechariah chapter 6? 6.
6. So when it talks about the king, priest, having the king being the priest, that's Zechariah 6. What about it?
In relation to that, I was just trying to push the chapter that actually. I think that's.
Yeah, that's a fun conversation. It's very fun conversation. Are there any questions or comments in regards to any of the questions that we went over? The concept of walking it out and being able to talk to people in these certain situations. The reason why we did this today, not a typical lesson, is because everybody has to be a light. It's not just Morris, not just Kohanim or elders or whatever. It is everybody within the nation, because the entire nation was called to teach, whether through your actions or whether through conversation, not formally teaching, but being able to, based on what the Creator has given you and put inside of you, help people who may not know what you know. But if you don't know what you know, then what's the point? What are you coming to Shabbat every day for? Hopefully, what are you reading every day for? What are you praying every day for? Why do you want to live this lifestyle? And the purpose of the lifestyle is to attract others to the Creator.
Stuck on what?
Say that one more time.
Stuck on identity and
Because you stuck on the fact that you believe, because it's about belief, because we're reading Ezra today, right? And it was like 70 years after, there were people who could not trace their lineage, they could not trace themselves back to their father's house. So they didn't know necessarily where to put them. So Israel, can you trace yourself back to your father's house in Israel? No. So it's technically belief that you believe that you are Israel. So you got to get off of that eventually And now you have to walk in the purpose, which the purpose of Israel, whether you know who you are, whether you don't know, who you are, was to walk as a righteous example of what it means to be a child, son or daughter of the Creator.
That last comment, walk in righteousness in the ways of the Creator. So to counter that question, what I think happens, I know you see it, I see it, people we know daily, they come to walk with us and now they don't even want to
So they come and walk and then they turn away.
turn away, their ways are out of time. You try to say, you go up to them and say shalom, they're like, what's good? Stuff like that.
So, were you a Hebrew or were you an Israelite before you came into this knowledge?
You asking me?
Anybody?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So you were an Israelite
Oh, no.
before you knew that you were Israelite?
No.
Yes.
You sure?
I'm going over, 29:11.
No. It's a simple question. Did you think you was an Israelite before you came?
No. Were you an Israelite before you knew that you were Israelite?
Because the scriptures came.
Okay, okay. So if you leaving the quote unquote the ways of an Israelite, are you still an Israelite after that?
If you turn away from the ways,
Are you an Israelite after you leave the culture of the Israelites? You
still Israelite
Thank
came.
you, thank you. So that means that the curses of Deuteronomy 28 are going to follow you whether you want to do this way or not. Because you're under the covenant, is that. Because if that's the case, a lot of quote unquote good people, we shouldn't be living the way we are. But the Most High said that these things will follow you and be a sign upon your people forever. If you are disobedient, so that means that if you want this way, or if you don't want this way, you are responsible to keep it. So I mean, all we can do is pray for them and hope that they repent and be able to come back into the fold and come back into the lifestyle of Israel. Because you're always going to have the blood of Israel. You can't change your nationality, you can change your religion. So that's for them, that's where they at. Hopefully they come back. But our goal is to continue doing the work, so when they come back, we'll be able to point to where we need them to fill in. Any other questions or comments? Well, turn out y'all for your attentiveness, however y'all can stand before the church of y'all. And that's all I ask. For those who, all right, so announcements for those who are still on Pesach. Once again, if you have not filled out the form, please fill out the form so we can kind of get the head count. We kind of know what's going on as far as the food and things of that nature.
Where is this one?
Yeah, it's on Google Docs, but I'll put it back in the group chat. So I'll put it in the chat for everybody who does not have it.
I clicked it immediately. So I got none of it. So like, as soon as I see it, I clicked it to the side. So then I put it here for more so I can just leave the shower house. Something like that. But I understand like probably if you care about leaving it all you want to use that shower house. So that's why I can say.
Yeah, so for those who don't have it, we'll work it out. I don't think we have any other are y'all there? So for the Yellow Dean who are dancing for Pesach, they will have practice here tomorrow. And we will record it so they can start practicing that during the week as they do here. They can do it at home a little bit. Because we got about 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks. Okay. Outside of that, that's we don't have no food today, but I'm hungry, so all right, so we won't have any food as well after Pesach, so we can kind of focus on making sure that we do what we need to do there. However, I'm hungry, so we need to find.
All right, you might appreciate.
I mean,
Let's pray after.
yeah, okay, yeah, we can pray out. All right, so let us stand. So let us stand so we can pray out. Hallelujah. 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 Baruch atah Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch, bless are you, Yahuwah, our mighty one, our king forever, who has given us family and the Torah for our instruction on how to walk before you righteously, O great King, Redeemer of Israel. There is no Savior beside you, Yahuwah Zalman. You are everything that we need. You are our shepherd, we shall have no lack. We thank you, O Yah, for allowing us to come back under your covenant, Father Yah. For your love that you had for your servants, Abraham, Yitzhak, or Yaakov. And the fact that you do not change, Abiyah, because you do not change, Abiyah, you have not destroyed us, although we were worthy of destruction. But you have forgiven us, Father Yah. As we have prayed, Abiyah, that you wash us clean and forgive us of our iniquities and the iniquities, sins, and transgressions of our forefathers. May you continue to lead us, Abiyah, and grow and develop us, Abiyah, and we may be bright lights, Abiyah, in this dark time. Not for our esteem, Abiyah, but for your name's sake. For you said in your word, Abiyah, that you would magnify your name. That your name would get esteem, Abiyah, because you set us apart. That the nations would know that Yahuwah, the Elohim of Israel, is in the midst of his people. When you pour your Ruach upon all of us, Abiyah, even the servants, Abiyah, that are among us. We praise your name, Abiyah, for we know that these words shall come to pass if we do our diligence to strip away the thoughts and the mindsets and the ways of Babylon, the ways of the Canaanites, the ways of Mitzrayim. And we get back, Abiyah, to your true walk, to the path, Abiyah, the old path, the ancient path of our forefathers, the righteous forefathers. Allow our praise, Abiyah, to be pleasing before your eyes, before your ears, Slikah, and our ways pleasing before your eyes. May you bless all of the children of Israel throughout the four corners, Abiyah, who are praising your name on this Shabbat day. May you heal those, Abiyah, who are sick and are not whole. May you complete them. May you provide provisions, Abiyah, for those who are lacking. May you provide love for those who feel lonely, shelter for the homeless, food for the hungry. And we know that you work through your intercessors, Abiyah, which are flesh, through man, to allow us to be willing vessels, Father God, to do your work. Not just talking, but to live it. Not just care, Abiyah, that the blood that runs through our veins goes back to Abraham, Yitzhak, or Yaakov, Abiyah. But allow us to walk as they walk, to be hospitable as they were. You are an amazing power, mighty power, one that is to be feared, respected, admired, imitated. But you said, be ye holy, for you are holy. We are to be set apart, for you are to be set apart. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There is none like you, God. Baruch atah Yahuwah, Baruch Hashem Yahuwah, Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Bless you, Yahuwah. Bless the name, Yahuwah. Bless he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. And we say, hallelujah. 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 Amen. Ms. Pacal, Toda Rabah for y'all coming. Sarayah, Toda, and stranger. Aki, Moray, Ethan, and Akuti. Told all y'all for y'all coming.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Wish you would have told me that y'all were coming. You know, I would have rolled out the carpet on Zoom and stuff like that.
Ah, man, knock it off, knock it off. There you go. Hilarious.
Slow.
Shalom, shalom.
I will.
Hey, understand y'all.
Hey,
Shabbat shalom.
can I get the scriptures? 'Cause I feel like I missed a couple of them.
No, I know where she been at. Well, I hear this thing.
Okay, I feel like I missed a couple of scriptures. Can I get the scriptures in group chat?
Yes, I will try to put everything in the group chat.
Thank
Uncle
you.
Ben, shalom. Imam Kevin, the elder Kevin Stockley, shalom. Hopefully y'all enjoyed.
Oh, it's all coming right now.
You say, Imam Mills.
Oh, I ain't, man, I'm a phone, man, like, why you need to hit me long? How many hits? Okay, so
Say hi.
Hey.
So Shemaya, they all.
Say hi, Uncle David.
I'll call y'all. Call y'all. We go. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, Nana. Oh, God. What in the world? Bye-bye. Bye-bye.